As a collegiate runner, I have devoted countless hours to the devotion and hard work that is required to play my sport. I do track and field. For 3 years of my life at UL, I've woken up early for easy runs. I've lifted between rigorous classes, and then I've put myself to the test in hard workouts. It seems my fate, and the fate of so many other student athletes, hangs in the balance of NCAA policy changes, of which we have no control. The NCAA, or the National Collegiate Athletic Association, has been making extreme changes to their policies, and they're taking priority away from the athlete. Any change that they make trickles down to people like me and my teammates. 5 of the alterations they've made recently that affect us in ways unforeseen are the name, image, and likeness policies, the transfer portal system changes, COVID eligibility extensions, roster limit changes, and supposed benefits for athletes that just don't do enough. To start, name, image, and likeness is a hot topic. The NCAA states that it officially changed NIL policy in 2021. Athletes like me can receive brand deals and get money for playing our sport. It sounds nice, right? While athletes are rewarded for marketability, it's caused coaches to seek athletes that are less workable and more marketable. When you're just seeking athletes that can get views, likes, money, you're not really thinking about the betterment of the team. Is NIL truly the right way we should be going about seeking skilled athletes and developing ourselves? Also, the transfer portal is another problem that the NCAA is trying to push. The transfer portal, in theory, has been made better by the NCAA policies, and student athletes are now allowed to go switch schools and immediately play, which wasn't always the case. However, Greenspoon-Martyr law says that institutions lack education for athletes. The rules of the transfer portal are gray at best. We are liable to finance and tax mishaps that we were never liable for before. So not only are athletes clawing for opportunities, but we're also in danger of legal repercussions. It's a desperate situation. And speaking of desperate, the COVID-19 extended eligibility has wreaked havoc. The eligibility rule stated that athletes that had lost a season for COVID were able to come back. But the way redshirting works is you can take off a year and then come back as well. So athletes that had a COVID year and a redshirt year can be 2 to 4 years ahead of incoming athletes. The Grand Valley Lanthor Journal says that colleges have had a hard time managing their rosters with all these athletes. Athletes that might have just come in and needed development are being cut because they've already devoted so much time and effort into COVID athletes. And obviously, these older kids are going to win more because they've had more experience. I am competing in running with 27-year-old athletes, some of whom have gone professional careers and come back to the college sphere. Is that fair? I personally don't believe so. Speaking of unfair, roster limits. Because of previous changes, there's been a massive reallocation of money across the board. Scholarship limits and roster limits are being enforced at an exponential rate, more than they ever have been before. ESPN says that all sports will see a roster cut. That creates a lot of uncertainty for these student athletes who have devoted so much time and effort into their craft. For example, women's soccer rosters will shrink more than 10%. If you think about the multitude of athletes that is, there's so many colleges across the United States. It truly is astounding. How sad for college athletes who've devoted so much time to this sport to be disregarded by the NCAA and their new policies. Some may say that the NCAA is trying their best with these new advantages. They're trying to incorporate mental health into the sport and trying to better academics by helping student athletes acclimate to the outside world. It's not enough. Not if you're going to cut them before they can reap the benefits of their craft. It's a good start, but it's not enough to mitigate the crises with NIL, roster cuts, COVID, and more. So, to conclude, these elements of policy changes have all occurred in recent years, and they only seem to be getting hotter and hotter. We need to petition the NCAA to compensate for the unfairness that exists within multiple dimensions of sports today. We need the NCAA to make new policies that benefit all of us athletes, as well as advocate for better education in the fields. We shouldn't be held liable legally for things that are changing before our eyes. The support and outcry of the public is a must. Fans and spectators are our best hope for getting NCAA attention. AP News says that the NCAA is already in heaps of legal trouble. It's no wonder. So, that means that they could possibly be closer than ever to a real response if we just can all put a little bit more pressure on them. I want what's best for the athletes. The NCAA wouldn't exist without them. Me and my teammates deserve to run tomorrow and the day after that without fear of policies changing everything we've worked for so a few people can benefit monetarily. Thank you. And I hope that you will take action with